This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Chapter 2 of How Startups Actually Work, From Idea to Product Market Fit, Building the Founding Team and Culture. In this chapter, you'll learn: identify key roles in a founding team. Let's dive in. About a quarter of startup failures blame one thing: the wrong team. A founder storms out of a meeting, another quietly updates their LinkedIn, and investors suddenly need more time. In this episode, we unpack how your first hires silently decide your startup's future. Here's the twist most founders miss. The problem usually isn't that you hired bad people. It's that you assembled the right people for the wrong game. Three friends with similar backgrounds can blitz to a prototype, then stall at $500K ARR because no one wants to own pricing, hiring, or fundraising. On the flip side, a hacker plus seller plus operator combo can feel slower at first, yet hit repeatable milestones faster because responsibilities are clear from day one. Investors quietly look for this balance. At least one founder who can ship the core product, one who can reliably get customers, and someone, often the CEO, who can align strategy, capital, and culture. In the next segment, we'll turn that into a concrete founder role map you can use before you offer anyone equity. Most founding teams stop at titles. I'm CEO, you're CTO. That's not enough. You need a brutally specific map of who owns which outcomes in the next 18 to 24 months. Think in numbers, not labels. Who is accountable for getting from 0 to 10 design partners? From 0 to 50K MRR? From 0 to 5 engineers hired and ramped? From 12 to 6-month runway? Write these as explicit owner metric pairs before you add a third founder or first hire. When gaps appear, say nobody truly owns gross margin or onboarding speed, you've just defined your next critical hire, not a nice-to-have. Here's where things get real. Once you've mapped outcomes and gaps, you're no longer looking for smart generalists. You're hiring people whose behavior will hard code how your company thinks. Start with the first 10 to 15 people. For each seat, define 3 layers before you talk to candidates. 1. Mission-critical outcome. Example: close the first 15 paying customers at an average ACV of $6K within 9 months. 2. Decision rights. Example: can discount up to 20% without approval, can reject leads that don't match ICP, co-owns pricing experiments with founder. 3. Cultural constraints. Example: shares bad news within 24 hours, writes a short decision doc before shipping anything that touches customers. Now, embed culture into the hiring process instead of into a slide deck. Replace culture fit with 3 to 5 non-negotiable behaviors. Example set: defaults to written communication. Tests ideas with real users within 7 days. Admits mistakes without defensiveness. Challenges founders respectfully. Treats customer time as more valuable than our own. Turn each behavior into a test. Admits mistakes. Ask for the last time they made a high-impact error. Push until you get specifics. Dates, people, numbers. Vague answers are a red flag. Use a work sample that mimics month 3 on the job. For a product hire, give them a real bug backlog and a vague feature request. Ask them to prioritize 10 issues. Write 1 customer-facing update. Propose 2 metrics they'd track. Next, align equity with risk and ownership. A simple starting point: equal equity only if everyone is full-time within 3 months. Each person owns at least 1 existential outcome, for example, launch V1, reach 100K ARR. You'd be comfortable each remaining as a major shareholder even if they left. Use 4-year vesting with a 1-year cliff for everyone, including you. Founder breakups hurt less when unvested equity returns to the pool. Finally, write a 1 to 2 page operating manual that candidates see before they accept. When you ship, how you handle conflict, what good looks like at 3, 12, and 24 months. This filters out misaligned hires before they touch your cap table. Stripe published its operating principles before hiring employee number 20 and used them to screen candidates. One principle, users first, led to declining a senior hire who kept talking about owning the customer instead of removing developer pain. That single decision preserved a norm that later shaped how 1,000+ people prioritized roadmap debates. To stress test your own values, take 1. Say, "We move fast." Translate it into a concrete rule like, no decision waits more than 72 hours if 2 people agree on a path. Then ask, who, specifically, has authority to enforce this when a VP or founder slows things down? A clear culture doc doesn't need to be long. Think 10 to 15 bullets, each paired with one, "This means we do X," and one, "This means we don't do Y." Example: we write things down. We share proposals in docs before meetings. We don't make big decisions in hallway chats. Over your first 200 days, revisit these with your team after real incidents. If a bullet never guides a trade-off, delete or rewrite it. A founder divorce can erase 18 months of progress in a single board meeting. Your next leverage point isn't a feature or a fundraising hack. It's turning how you work together into visible, testable infrastructure. Treat values like API contracts, written, versioned, and breakable in specific ways. Over the next 90 days, force at least 3 real decisions through that contract and track outcomes. Time to decision, who speaks up, who quietly disengages. Your challenge this week: run a 60-minute culture stress test with all current founders and any offer stage leaders. Step 1. Pre-work, solo, 10 minutes each. Each person writes down 3 behaviors that feel most us when things go well. 3 behaviors you've seen that would be unacceptable at 50 people. 1 moment in the last month when you felt misaligned with the team. Step 2. In the session, 40 minutes. Round 1, 15 minutes. Share only the most us behaviors. Cluster similar ones. Force rank the top 5 by asking, which of these, if violated repeatedly, would make you quit? Round 2, 15 minutes. Share the unacceptable at 50 people list. For each, ask, has this already happened? When? What would the inverse behavior look like as a rule? Round 3, 10 minutes. Everyone shares their misalignment moment. Capture exact phrases people used, not summaries. Step 3. Output, same day, 10 minutes. One founder drafts a 1-page V0 culture and operating rules doc that includes 5 behaviors, each with "we do" and "we don't." 3 concrete rules tied to how you decide, ship, and argue. Align on what you will not optimize for. For example, we don't optimize for consensus. For example, instead of "we're transparent," you might codify, we publish a brief decision note for any choice touching $5,000 or 2 weeks of work. We don't hide negative customer feedback from the team or investors. Next week, put this doc in front of candidates for your next 2 hires and watch how they react. Their questions are your first real-world culture diagnostics. Over the next decade, treating this doc as a living artifact, updated after every major conflict or pivot, will matter as much to valuation and resilience as your product roadmap. Use this week to set 1 measurable cultural target, for example, 3 decisions documented per week, or 2 candidate rejections based on behavior, not skills. Track how long each decision takes and who pushes back. If time to decision drops 20 to 30% in 30 days, you're not just hiring, you're installing a scalable operating system. Before next week, ask yourself, 1. If I could only keep 3 people on my founding team for the next 12 months, who would they be and what concrete behaviors have they shown that prove they live our values under stress, not just when things are going well? 2. Looking at the last 5 important decisions we made, who actually influenced those calls? And does that informal power map match the culture and ownership model I say I want? 3. If a new hire shadowed us for one intense week of outages, late nights, and customer escalations, what would they conclude our real culture is? And what's one specific ritual, rule, or meeting I can change this week to bring that reality closer to the culture I claim we're building? This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!